In this video, I'm going to share how to make friends as a 30-something-year-old. And I'm aware I might not look like a 30-year-old. I am actually 31 years old. And I do happen to have friends, so hear me out. A lot of us in our 30s are no longer in school. Somebody could talk to me all day. How many friends do you want to make? Life really is not meant to be lived alone. It is meant to be lived in the company of others. Hey folks, I'm Vin. I use they, them, theirs pronouns. And this is the Venn diagram, which is dedicated to the intersection of my life experience. I cover self-development topics. I do that through book deep dives and vlogs. I have been fortunate enough to make and lose some friends. And as a 31-year-old, making friends now looks really different than it did when I was in high school or college. I want to share how I continue to make friends, and hopefully this will be valuable to you. Why is this hard? Here's some internal factors. You might be worried that you're not likable. You're worried that this is going to take time that you don't even have after work, and time that you don't even have to take care of yourself. And this might be hard because you're lazy. Yes, I went there because some of you might need to hear that. You're lazy. Some of you might be too lazy to make friends as an adult. But that's why I'm here, because you're actually not that lazy. I want you to know that you are worthy of finding fulfilling friendships. You are worthy of friendships that will take you on epic adventures if that's what you want. And I promise you that friendships are a worthy investment of your time. Life really is not meant to be lived alone. It is meant to be lived in the company of others. If you want to check out my podcast, it's called Contain, for the thoughts and feelings you can't contain, with one of my really good friends, Sarah. We also have an episode on maintaining friendships there, so you can check that out. Here's some practical applications. You and I could probably talk all day, or me and you. Somebody could talk to me all day, or I could just talk to myself all day. Anyway, I could talk to you all day about why making friends as an adult is hard. But let's just dive into two simple frameworks that can get you thinking and acting on this. The first framework is an energy assessment of your week. Where do you have gaps in time or availability for new friends? Where, and I mean what part of the week, do you need like a social boost, like need to be socializing with people as opposed to spending time at home by yourself? That could look like Wednesday, midweek, right at the beginning of the week on a Monday, or maybe it's on the weekends, just like on a Friday night or something. So keep this in mind as we go to this next framework. Is a really simple question. How many friends do you want to make? And this question might seem silly to you, but I don't really need to be in large groups, like groups of 26 or even 4. I really like one-on-one connections with my friend. Let's say your goal is just to make a new friend that you can reach out to once a month. That's great. Or it's somebody that you can watch movies with on a weekly basis because you're really into movies. And you like spending time with somebody where it's really low effort and you don't have to be talking to each other the whole time. So again, keep those two things in mind as we go into the next section. Where are the gaps in your week that you want to fill? How many friends do you really want to make? Also, if you want any productivity and wellness tips, I do have a newsletter called Moviti, and that is dedicated to just providing really actionable items for you. And I'm going to put that in the description. External factors. First, let's cover some barriers, okay? A lot of us in our 30s are no longer in school, be that grade school or college. We are simply exposed to far less people than we were when we were younger. I attended the University of California, San Diego, which in 2022 welcomed over 30,000 students. That's a lot of people. When I went to college from 2011 to 2016, I went to events for clubs, organizations, sporting events, all kinds of stuff that my college put forth just to bring students together. When you work full-time or you're not within the collegiate system, you have a handful of workers that you have access to. In this economy, you probably have roommates, especially if you're living in one of the big cities in this country of the United States, New York City, San Francisco, Los Angeles. So you're really not getting as much exposure as you did before, because even in high school, my class was of 200 students, and there's probably 800 students in the whole school total. That's still a lot of exposure to people versus the few dozen or so that you might interact with now. So let's get into some solutions. Friends of friends. Friends of friends is a really great place to start because you at least have one connection point to a person, your friend. Already an established friend that has a level of similar values and interests as you. Let's say your friend always hosts a game night, and then you notice that this guy, Jorge Luis, that goes to these game nights always brings a really awesome homemade dish. So why don't you try to make a touch point with Jorge Luis and be hey, could you share that recipe with me, or teach me how to do it? That could be an opportunity right there. On a run that you do with your partner, he brings his high school friend whose name is Ahmad, and Ahmad really likes cycling, which you also like cycling. So you're hey, do you want to go cycle together sometime? And now you have a new cycling buddy too. So I urge you to find those connection points points to people that you might not really know, but at least you have a friend of friend, mutual friend connection as like a baseline entry point. The next thing is coworkers. I know that coworkers might not always be like the safest route because you never know what people are like completely until you're outside of the workplace. But I would pay attention to the kind of jokes people make, the effort that they put into their job, and how they engage with others, and even like how they might respond to Slack messages or emails with emojis or just funny nuances that like kind of make them a little more human and like a little more approachable. I have several coworkers that have become some of my closest friends, and all it really takes is like a little extra effort. Ask them if they can have lunch with you, go walk with you, or even do a 15-minute check-in call. And by setting up that initial call, you can like make it obvious that you want to make yourself available to this person, you want to support them in their work, and find ways for you all to collaborate. And in that, a friendship could potentially form. Speaking of like work and coworkers, I love talking to people about their careers and in whatever shape and form that looks like. I started another podcast called Creating Your Conditions, which is like really just dedicated to understanding the conditions that people come from, the ones that they forge for themselves, and the ones that they have yet to create. So if you want to check out one of my like recent interviews, I'll leave a link to that in the description. Also, if you want to be interviewed for that podcast, let me know in the comments. Interests. This is like probably the advice that a lot of people have already given you, but think about your interests. That could be sewing, sports, reading, watching movies. Yeah, I said that earlier, right? There's probably a Facebook group, an Instagram page, a Meetup app group, or a Reddit thread for those interests, and then probably a local group that meets based on those interests. And if there's not, what's stopping you from creating one of your own? I've become a runner, really like just February of this year. So it's only been a few months. And I knew that my neighborhood like doesn't have a run club. But I asked on the Facebook group that I'm on that like is for this neighborhood, and I was like, hey, is anyone down to do a run club? Is there already one? People were like, there isn't one, but I'd be super down. And I was like, okay, I just signed up to organize this. And really organizing it is just picking a date and time, making a post about it, reminding people. And that's all I've been doing. And it's been really, really cool. Our first meeting was like 2 weeks ago and 6 people came. And I was like, that's awesome. The next meeting, 11 people came. Okay, one of them was a toddler, but still, there's 11 bodies there. It really just takes like you asking, is there an opportunity for this? Is there a group for this? Can I do this? And you'd be surprised at how supportive people are when someone just initiates the conversation. And know that you don't really have to do it alone. Just like look at other groups that already do this stuff and just copy their content. It's very easy to set up a Canva account and like make a flyer. It's very easy to just say time and place. It doesn't even have to be that fancy as a flyer. It could just be your notes app and then just like time and place. Next Wednesday, we'll be here, we'll run. I just want you to ask yourself 2 questions. Do I want to do this activity with others? And if so, how can I reverse engineer this into reality? Okay, another really obvious way to make friends is local events. Be aware of local events happening in your area. Follow your city's like Instagram or Facebook pages. A lot of them are really getting with the times. Not just like your immediate city, but surrounding ones too, just to give yourself like a lot of things to sample from. I personally love going to farmers markets and to music festivals and to like random thrifting things that happen in the city. Find a local newspaper, go to your library. They usually have things that are posted within their bulletin boards, and even local businesses will have something that's like a bulletin board. Ow. And you'll be surprised, like someone usually has a flyer for an event happening, and it might be for that group that you really want to like be a part of. For me, going to like these local community events is a great way for me to find and support local businesses, artists that like, you know, I can put their art up on my room. Okay, another really obvious way to make friends is to volunteer. And this is like usually pretty easy because nonprofits and organizations serving a specific demographic or mission of direct services are always looking for volunteers to help fulfill their mission. So by volunteering, you assume that the person next to you that's in that shift with you at least wants to do that thing. Give their time back to the community to accomplish something like putting meals together, putting backpacks together, and all that kind of stuff. I guarantee that if you volunteer, you're gonna make at least one friend that has like alignment in your value systems with you. All right, so this is actually perfect because I have like a little book sticker there. That's from Daiso. I love that. It looks so good. So if you don't know by now, I'm a really big reader, and I couldn't make this list without recommending a book club. Reading is a really, really wonderful hobby. And for me, the reason for that is because you get so many perspectives of so many kinds of people when you're reading. You really understand like different characters' points of view from different parts of the world and different life experiences. And you really don't have to go very far. Book clubs are great because then you also get the perspectives of all the people that are reading it with you. And book clubs don't even have to be in person. They can be completely virtual. A lot of these things can be virtual. I've even seen some like organizations do like just book reading events where you just go and the point isn't really to socialize, it's just to be around people and then read in quiet. I think that's so beautiful. So pick any of these activities and make it right for you. Put it in the environment that really makes sense for you. Okay, so I know that this is gonna sound weird because this is a friendship video, not a sales video, but you're gonna have to go on several friendship dates to find your people. Maybe it'll take 4 to 10 hangouts with a bunch of different people to find one new friend that you can do that monthly activity with. But I know you can make it happen, and I want you to be selective. I think that'll be a future video. You know, be intentional. Find people that are in alignment with who you are, who you want to be in life. Friendships for me have come from all parts of my life, from college classmates, college roommates, to college organization buddies, to dance team members, to coworkers, to volunteer opportunities. Some strangers from the internet have become my friends too, and that's also awesome. But again, I just want to remind you that you are worthy of finding fulfilling friendships in this life. People that make you feel more vibrant, people that make you feel seen in this world, people that make you feel understood. Also people that are willing to challenge your thinking and are willing to hold you to your word. So get out there, and I'll see you in the next video.